Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in to Network Live TV, where we're going to talk about how to increase your networking efforts locally, nationally, or internationally, as well as discuss things that will help you up your game online. We are here weekdays at 11 a.m. Eastern. I am your host, Sabrina Watson, founder of NetworkLiveVirtually.com, where you can grow your business through creating live virtual relationships all over the globe. Our meetings and membership are totally free. So don't miss your opportunity and chance to network with amazing people everywhere. We've got well in excess of 500 registered users these days in a dozen countries. In fact, recently we had somebody in a country just south of Russia, between Russia and China, join us. Is that not crazy? So that's pretty exciting stuff. I want to let everybody know that we're looking for people who are absolutely serious about building their brand and business while establishing their authority and creating a larger circle of influence. The people we're looking for have three main qualities. They're team players, self-motivated, and dependable, because you have to help the other hosts promote their stuff as well. Right. So if you feel you have these qualities, please reach out to me and let's talk about the benefits of being a host with NetworkLiveVirtually.com. I want to thank my co-host, Christy Smallwood, author Christy Smallwood, who is with me every Wednesday, author of Networking the No Rules Way, and my special guest today, Dr. Amy Kanada, for joining us, taking time out of our busy days. So, girls, it is so nice to see you, and it is Wednesday, March 9th. What's going on?
Already.
Already.
I know the trees are starting to bloom here. Mm-hmm. Spring is springing.
Spring is already here for me. I've already gotten all most of my yard work done. My garden is in. My radishes are already that tall. My beans are already that tall. My swimming pool is up to about, I haven't checked it today. It's probably about 76 degrees because the solar panels, they're going. Everything's running for me. So I'm really excited. I've already had my airboat out twice, as you know.
Uh-huh. Seen that.
Nice.
Did you see my airboat video, Dr. Amy?
I didn't. No.
You're going to have to come out and run the swamp with me sometime.
Hey, I would love to. We're just looking at the last bit of the snow melt up here. So I'm like totally jealous.
Well, hey, I know a lot of people up north who didn't even get snow. So that's just craziness.
We can get snow one day and then next day it's 70. So this is why I'm on this right now. So, right. Yeah, the weather is not my friend until it starts to settle down about mid-April. It starts to get hot. Mm-hmm. And then June, you can't stand it because there's so much humidity. And then by the time September hits, now it starts to feel good for a couple of weeks. And then all of a sudden it's cold again. So,
well, you guys don't actually get a lot of snow up there anyway, right?
For Amy?
In Louisville, for Christy.
It'll depend. That's why the weather is such a topic of conversation all the time, because you just never know what's going to happen. Or do you remember back in 74 when we had, 30 inches, or the tornado was 74, and then we had, I even got stuck at work one time because where we are in the Ohio Valley, I used to live on the Indiana side. Louisville's right up against the river. So I worked in Louisville, lived in Indiana, but I was stuck in Louisville because I couldn't get home to Indiana because where I was there had 36 inches of snow, and in Louisville it only had 8. So a 50-mile difference was a lot of different inches there on that. But then it could flip-flop. I got nothing at home and I couldn't get to work. So it only happens, and then like I said, a week later it's all gone. Mm-hmm. It just depends. But the weather is a great, and don't get me started on daylight savings time. That used to be really fun too. Where I used to live up there, it was it would be a part of the time zone that would change, that would accept the daylight savings time.
And across the river didn't?
Right, because I could be at work at 5 and get home at 5. So
that would be great.
They're like, how do you do those? I'm like, this is why I don't like to do math in my head, because it's all, you have to figure out, okay, if I'm going to go to this location, I have to leave 2 hours early it gets.
You could leave work at 5 and get home at 5, but going the other way, that would be tough to calculate. That would be a mess.
Yes. Yeah. The other way, Yeah, it's much fun.
So let me introduce you to Christy Smallwood. She is the author of The No Rules Way and Entree Networking, and currently owns Eagle Eye Executives. Christy Smallwood's background includes 20 plus years in media, marketing, and advertising, plus organizational management, with focus on developing and launching new projects. Christy is a trained executive coach specializing in leadership communication. Her experience covers a variety of industries: ad agencies, radio, franchises, small business, corporate, and ministry, as well as nonprofits. Christy uses her gifts of bringing order to chaos, getting things done, and motivating people to realize their potential, reach their goals, and bring their dreams to life. She specializes in training on self-awareness and self-definition that includes leadership, emotional intelligence, marketing, organization, personal development, and time management. So that's a whole mouthful, Christy. So what's on your, welcome, Jennifer. What's on your agenda this week? You got something coming up today. What's happening today? Do I need to go get your link?
Today is my show this afternoon, my session with trying to mix it all together. I'm sorry. There's a lot of Dayquil going on here. Network Live Virtual. I'm one of the hosts, and my show happens twice a month, every second and fourth Wednesday. So today is the second Wednesday of the month at 2 p.m. And today's guest speaker for my Entre Networking Zoom room session is Ben Markham, who is a professional headshot photographer. So he is going to give us tips and tricks, and we get to learn about his story and people that he's worked with before, as well as how to put your best face forward when we're doing stuff like this. And I'll very quickly, versus how do you even mess with lighting whenever you're trying to do like this? Doesn't work near as well as having a light. And like, how do you position yourself? And just like if you scroll over my head at the top of the screen here, you'll see he did that headshot. So he's expert. I can't wait to hear what he's got to share with us. So I've been really excited.
So Christy,
that's at 2:00 today.
Did he do your professional shots?
Cool. Mm-hmm. Yes.
How long ago?
That one was a year ago, almost right at a year ago.
Because he did a really good job on yours. I've seen yours, and I thought they were pretty amazing. Dr. Amy, have you had your professional shots done?
Yeah, mine, you'll see in my profile, those were done also a year ago. Mm-hmm. And they're really invaluable. I mean, for whoever's listening out there, having a professional do your headshot is really invaluable. And then the other thing I don't know if you ladies have found, but keeping it consistent across the social media platforms that you're on with the same headshot, so people see, oh yeah, it's like recognition, like, and I'm breaking my own rule because mine's, if you'll see, mine's different. I have a black dress, and on Facebook I have a red dress. It's sort of like this beta testing, like which one people notice me more for, and by far it's like, oh, you're the woman in the red dress. So people start to associate you with your headshot and stuff like that. So it's really important. So I'm curious what time is your blab? I would be curious to be on Zoom.
2 p.m. Eastern.
Oh, okay.
It's not a blab, Dr. Amy.
It's a Zoom.
It's a Zoom room. It's a Zoom.
So I just put the link on there. You can register. And the autoresponder will send you the links if you would like to join. I wanted to mention, though, or talk about the fact that you're talking about the black or the red. And you have a business page for Dr. Amy Kanata as well, right? Yep. So Amy Porterfield has her profile in 2 different colored shirts, one for her personal and one for her business page. Was that kind of your thought as well, or do you have them like that?
You know what? It wasn't that thought out, but I'm going to steal that idea because I love it.
Well, see, that's what we're here for, is give you all kinds of great fun ideas.
Yeah. Well, and I believe that there's no unique ideas in the world. I believe that all of our ideas are sort of universally shared. So there's no such thing as like, oh, I came up with the next best idea because someone on some other continent probably came up with the same idea at the same time. So
I've actually heard of people that are like going to the patent offices from different countries at exactly the same time with exactly the same patent. Have you ever read of?
Crazy. No, I haven't. That's awesome.
I can't remember. That was just a couple of years ago. I was reading an article about that. 2 guys were going to the patent office at the same time in different countries to patent their product. And one beat the other out by a couple of minutes, but they weren't even on the same continents as each other. So,
oh my gosh, that's unreal.
That's absolute proof to what you're saying, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you got that coming up, Christy, at 2:00 today. What else do you have coming up this week? Anything that we need to know about? Are you hanging out anywhere, or are you hiding in bed?
No, I'm working. I'm getting more clients, which is good, and I appreciate that extremely. A lot of it, I'm either getting those people, those small businesses, like I thought, that would need some marketing help, like guide me, tell me what I'm doing wrong, where I need to go with it. Or I get the client that says, can you please help me teach my people how to think for their own damn self?
Yes.
Like, yes.
I like that.
Okay.
And I want to talk about that. First, I want to introduce Dr. Amy Cannata to you guys. She is CEO and founder of Chiropractical Solutions and Launch University, which is an online personal development and transformational academy for women who are ready to elevate their game, transform their businesses and their lives by changing how they see themselves and becoming confident, empowered leaders and financially independent. But it is so much more than that. It's designed to help women stop their insane self-worth issues and insecurity. And we're going to hear Amy's story and their inability to speak up for what they want. She is on a mission to change how women across the globe see themselves, because she believes every woman is worthy of greatness, and it's time to stop hiding or shrinking to make someone else more comfortable. She believes every woman should be able to live in their divine roles. Tell us about that, Amy. That's a big job.
Well, let me tell you, my mission and passion in life was born out of my own struggle and journey with breaking out of a domestic violence situation. As you know, Sabrina, you know about my story, and the moment of my life when I hit that rock bottom moment in 2002, and I remember being in like this fetal position, just crying, like completely and utterly feeling like I was broken and like I was just part of the ashes of my life. And out of that, it was almost like I had, almost like that. If you've ever seen the movie Rocky, where you're like, he's down and out and he's bloodied and everything. And he gets that fire inside of him to like, I'm going to keep going. Like, and that's what happened to me in that moment. It was like, wait a minute. Like I felt this like rumbling, this like something greater inside me that was like, I'm going to come up out of this, and I'm going to come up out of this strong, not only for myself and my daughters, but to really thrive and to really become the best version, the highest possible version of myself that I could be. More like a watch me now, because I figured it was the best revenge for my ex was for me to kind of be like, you know what, you can beat me down, but you're not going to stop me. And so from that moment on, started this journey to, me writing a book last year that went to #1 on Amazon. And really what really hit me was 2 years ago when I decided, you know what, I had a family tragedy happen, and it reaffirmed, like, I need to teach what I've learned. I need to teach what I have taught myself over the last 12 years of my experience, not only to domestic violence survivors, but to women who have ever been beaten down in their lives. Maybe you had a boss that was a bully, or maybe you've been in the corporate world and you've been climbing your way up. You've completely lost who you are as a person because you've been so busy taking care of everyone else, busy in the day in and day out of, I've got to do more, I've got to be more because I'm not worthy enough in my own skin, or I don't feel that way. So maybe if I do more, be more, have more, try to be the super mom and all these things, that maybe, just maybe then, if I get all those things checked off the list, I'll be worth it. And I'm here to tell you, excuse my language, but that's all bull crap. I learned that that's all bull crap. And so my coaching and mentoring now is to help women redefine those and reprogram their minds that are thinking they're not good enough. And in order to feel like they are good enough, they have to do more and be more. The fact of the matter is, what we have to do is go within ourselves. And so that's what this mission that I am on now, and why I'm so passionate, and passionate to see women stop struggling and stop saying, yes, I guess I'll do that because, and having to say no to those things that they really want to do because they can't afford it, or they don't have time, or they're tied down. It's like, no, you are empowered. You have the control to make your own decisions, and let me show you how to do that. So that's where this all sort of came out of, was this interpersonal journey and this passion to lift others as I climb, and stop seeing women struggle, and making not only financial freedom the new norm, but freedom from your own mindset. So that's really it in sort of a nutshell.
That's a big nutshell. Christy, you're back.
I am. I don't know what happened. Everything just went black. You guys disappeared on me, and I was like, I don't know what to do with this. So I just restarted.
You just got like kicked out. So anybody who's here, we would love it if you would tweet or Facebook or share the last 30 seconds. We always have an open seat for anyone that would like to pop in and say hello and get introduced to each other around here. Welcome, Rochelle. Nice to see you. So Amy, I want to ask you, how long? Well, first of all, hold up your book. I want people to see the cover of your book because I love the cover of your book.
Let me grab it. Hang on one second.
I love the cover of your book.
Oh. Perspective.
Is that not super cool?
That's very cool. Very well done.
And someday soon, I'm going to get my signed copy. Every time I talk to somebody who's written a book, I'm like, where's my signed copy? Where's my signed copy? But yeah, and so it made it to #1 on Amazon, and that was recently, right?
November. It was the week before Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And now, how long have you been out of this relationship? How long have you been working on yourself and developing what you've got going on?
Oh, I've been out of that relationship since 2002. But I guess what's important for anyone who's listening and people who are listening on the recording is that I have 2 grown children with this man. I have 2 teenagers. I have one in college and one who's a senior. And the fact of the matter is that even though I'm out of the relationship, because we have kids together, there are still issues that come up. Writing my book, getting my book published and getting it out into the world was something that actually triggered a lot of, what do I want to say? Bad behavior on his part.
Did it manifest as fear?
It didn't manifest as fear for me. It manifested as fear for my children's father, whose name is not mentioned in the book, but he knew it was coming out. And so it manifested as threats again towards me, things like that. So not to say you're never really out of it as a woman, because the emotional ties get less and less as the years go by. But there's still complications to things. I mean, there's still things that come up behind the scenes. When college has to be paid for, all those things. So it's important for women to know that it's a journey. It's truly been a journey. And the moment that you decide to leave this abusive situation, whether it's an abusive boss or whether it's an abusive spouse or significant other, or it's just a really rough situation, it doesn't even have to be abuse. That's sometimes just the jumping off point to a journey that you're going to be on that's going to redirect your life depending on what choices you make. So, and because sometimes people think, oh, you left and now it's done and over with, or you got divorced and it's done and over with, or you left that job and it's done and over with. But what I see, and especially with the women that I work with, is that what I see happen is that we've been programmed throughout our lives, and sometimes throughout the course of a relationship, like for me, it was a 10-year relationship. My brain had been so programmed to thinking either I'm crazy, I'm making this stuff up, I'm losing it. And so it's taken time to reverse that cycle. It's sort of like, I would use the example like gaining weight. So it takes you time sometimes to gain weight. You know, maybe it takes you 10 years and you're like 20 pounds heavier. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I've got these 20 pounds to lose. Well, it takes time to lose that. It takes time to reprogram your mind. So for anyone out there that's listening, know that it's okay to be on the journey. Like, give yourself permission and ease to not have it all figured out in the beginning, to know and give yourself permission to not beat yourself up if you have a bad day. It's only one day in the course of your life. And just give yourself permission to be proud of the journey that you're on, whatever direction it takes you.
That is powerful stuff. That's what I love about you, Dr. Amy, is that you're just so honest, so forthright, and so real. I mean, you just offer up like tender, honest feelings that we all have. Mm-hmm. And that we all either hide or we're afraid of, or, you know, it's really so hard for all of us, not even just women. I think the same thing really happens to men, because I know there are a lot of men who get abused as well. Maybe not physically, but emotionally, verbally, you know. And I think it's so hard sometimes for some of us to come out there. I recently went to a Dani Johnson seminar. I don't know if either of you have ever heard of her, but I went to her seminar out in Houston, Texas. Poor Christy. This is the third time we've lost her.
I know.
Anyway, part of her seminar, she'll be back. Part of the seminar, Dani Johnson, is, I don't even know how to describe it, but you kind of, you're asked to like pull off your ego and tell the person next to you what improvement you need to make inside of you. And there are 1,200 people in this room, mixed men and women, equally men, equally women, from all age ranges, from children to seniors. And the whole room is in tears.
That's awesome.
And when she gets done with that exercise, she says, now, what did you all learn from that? And I wrote down 5 words. We are all in pain.
Oh, that's so true and so powerful. Wow. That is so true.
The whole room, 1,200 people are in tears. Now, this is a business workshop, you know, but she does combine some spirituality and some other things that happen in it. You know, she combines personality training and how to, you know, talk to different types of personalities. So there's a little bit of spirituality, business. There's all kinds of stuff. It's it can be 2 days or 3 days, depending on what you pay for. But my Saturday at the seminar started at 6 a.m. and ended at midnight that night.
Wow. My gosh.
This woman does not stop. Let's see. Who says, Jennifer says, I've got her in my inbox. I'm going to have to get one of those. You've got what in your inbox, Jennifer? What did I miss here, you guys? I must have missed something. She says, I've got her in my inbox. I'm going to have to get one of those. Dani Johnson. I'll be in DC. I would love to meet you there. I'm going to DC on April 30th. Well, actually, I'm going to go a couple days early because I haven't seen DC. So I'm going to go up and do a couple days of DC before the Dani Johnson seminar. So cool. Yeah, I would love to meet you there, Jennifer. So both of you ladies really deal with people differently and teach people different things. Let's talk a little bit about what you teach and how you teach it, Christy. I mean, after all, you are my co-host and I didn't even let you speak yet.
That's okay. That's okay, because right now Blab is causing me pain. Because at any point, your screens go black, the little recording button is still going, and I'm like, I don't know what happened. I can't communicate that I don't think, and I hate to, anyway, it's causing me pain. I work with a lot of family businesses at this point, those small micro businesses that are growing into small to medium sized businesses that have, it doesn't matter what their expenditures are. It doesn't matter what the revenue is. It matters what they're doing with their people. How many people are they dealing with in a day? That's the size of business that I work with. So I work with those that have like 20 employees, and less. And we work because they are on top of each other, working all day, every day, like sharing desks. And so how do you communicate with each other to get things done and still like each other by the end of the day when you're mother or daughter or three sisters or, name the family combination. But when you work that tight with somebody, but then the other thing that happens for a lot of business owners, especially if they've been in business over 5 years, they get to that point of they're just trucking right along. They're not noticing what they're doing, and they don't have enough of a grand vision to, anybody that works for mom, it could be a little tough. Anybody that they don't get to stop to really work on what that grand vision looks like and a plan to get there. So they haven't taken the time to slow down enough to assess where they're really going to go. So I use that approach to be able to talk to them, because what we really find out is because a small business owner is the business.
Right.
They are the brand of the marketing. They are it. And most of them don't have a succession plan. They don't have an exit strategy. They are the business. So when they are the business, that allows me time to work on the person. So when the mom doesn't know how to delegate because she doesn't know how to position herself as the executive, she still wants to do all of the tasks. Well, that's a internal issue. How do you grow yourself as a person to understand it's okay to let those little things go, to develop and build your people around you so that you can build yourself into something else. And so it allows it having the business aspect to it, the business angle to come in, gives us that tangible thing to work on, because that feels good for entrepreneurs, is to see some accomplishment moving along. But it gives me the qualitative aspect of life. So let's look at what's really going on behind the magic curtain to see everything, because if that person doesn't show up to work, it affects everything. It's not like a massive corporation where you can cross hand it off to somebody else to just cover for the day. You have to be there. I know I have to be there, because if I'm not there, they miss out on what my training is. They miss me. They tell me so, because I can't take a day off now. This is why I suck this down in a day and still show up at stuff. So, and that's what we all do, especially as business owners. Those leaders have so much weight of responsibility on their shoulders, on their body somewhere. And so we try to deal with those things that are going on up here and in here, how it affects, that emotional tie to how we think affects everything else, because it's going to come out, and our personality is going to express our core values through our communication. And so how are we communicating everything to the world with ourselves and our people, and then our target market? Ultimately, our entrepreneurs want revenue in the door. So how do we communicate out to the rest of the world to bring them in? So I'm able to back it up. Let's look here, and then how to teach you to look at everybody else the same way. So that's kind of my approach. That's why I have a 4-phase process to it, is awareness, like what is really going on here, and then moving that into definition. What do you want to accept as truth, basically? So let's really define what's going on. Now, as a business sense, that definition is branding. So what that is, that core message of what do you want to say about your business? What is it? And then how are we presenting that? That's the brand identity that's putting everything together. But how are we communicating ourselves to the world? How we present ourselves allows somebody else to kind of get the message before we even have to say a word. Like if we walk into the room, how we're presenting ourselves says a whole lot. The cover of your book, Dr. Amy, says a whole lot about your presentation, which is, I love that cover.
Thank you.
So then we move from presentation to implementation. And so anytime I train on networking, it's a lot about how do you implement everything that you've gone through so far. And it brings attention back to these other 3 phases of, if you're not aware of who you are and what you're doing, and you're just kind of trying to piece things together, it doesn't make sense for me. I'm not receiving a clear message. So as a type A and an entrepreneur, I want you to receive a clear message so that we can have an ongoing conversation I don't need to just hand you my box for you to shut the lid on. So how to get people to have those real conversations. And this is why I think some people are trying to hire me, they want to hire me to get their people to think for themselves. Like, how do you think for yourself? Because a lot of people don't know how to get people to be aware of what's really going on. So that's going to be that first phase of it. Let's just be aware. And so that's kind of how I work with people.
It looks like Jennifer and you need to connect. So I'm going to put your link in here. Miss Jennifer, if you click on that link, you can join Christy Smallwood at 2 p.m. for her virtual networking group. You'll be able to connect with her there and reach out to her and connect with her one-on-one. And Jennifer looks like she's got some human resource stuff going on here. It says human resource marketing director, passionate photographer. Oh my God, you totally need to be in her Zoom room today at 2:00.
Humanitarian headshot photographer.
Yeah, I have a headshot photographer. So there's the link. Just click on that link, register. It will send you the links to join the Zoom room with Christy at 2 p.m. this afternoon. So everything is about people. And I think that's the thing that everybody has a hard time with, is that everything we do every single day is really about people. Money comes from people. Right?
Right.
Relationships are with people.
Go
ahead, Christy.
I came from a what we call a Pearls of Wisdom breakfast event. So we have a local successful woman entrepreneur come speak to a group of women, and then we have group facilitation at the table, find out these pearls of wisdom, which is great. Our local one today was Ann Coates of American Plastics Molding. And so she runs a manufacturing company with her husband. And she had 2 businesses prior to that in a different state. And so she's had a whole different life, and she moved to Indiana, runs this. But she left us this. What are you building?
Oh, that's cute.
Right? We all got a little pack of Legos. What are you building? And she is really big on building the people in her business. She says, we're molding their future, manufacturing their success. And so it's an employee owned company. And so the employees get the profit sharing and things like that. So that sets the employees to have more ownership, and she gives them what they need to get their jobs done today. But then there's also that people development aspect. And the other thing about those small businesses is that family comes first. They get people at a different level, but they still don't know how to communicate well. So, but the people aspect is spot on. If it's not for the people run things. The people are commerce. The people are everything. So how do you work with people, not just a process?
I think that's it right there. You got to figure out how to work with people. I just want to remind our audience, you guys, we do have an open seat. This is virtual networking. We're talking about who you are and what do you do. And we're here to just connect people with each other. So we've just got, let's see, Christopher joined us from Knight Realty Group. Christopher, if you'd like to pop in, please feel free. We are really talking about how to talk to people. It just so happens that it's kind of all falling into the woman category. No, well, not.
Guy.
Hey, Christopher.
Hey.
Yeah.
Christopher, take a moment and introduce yourself and tell us who you are and what you do.
Sure. I'm a Christopher, and I have a real estate brokerage called Knight Realty Group in Pensacola, Florida. I just kind of caught a little bit of what you guys were chatting about reaching out and connecting with people, and that's where I find myself in my business. I had a very good year last year. My production was up 144%. And I was really, so I push and I push and I push for new business, and I was challenged. They say, why don't you reach out to your past clients and what can you pull from that? And someone asked me, they said, what piece are you sending out for Easter, to your clients? And I said, what do you mean?
I'm not. You didn't say I'm not, right?
Easter, Christmas, what? Is that a good idea? So a couple of days ago, the person that told me about that mentioned about this blab. So I'm learning like everybody else. I just jumped in, and I'm to formulate the issue that I'm having. is what's an effective way to continue communication with your clients? Because as you grow your business, I noticed that some of the people, I'm not sure what you ladies have, but I've seen people on here with spheres of influence. Y'all know that term? You'll have like 2,000 plus people in your direct sphere of influence. How in the world do you stay in their mind? So maybe that's a question to ask.
And I'm going to let both of you answer. Do you want to start, Amy?
I have to tell you, as I've grown my business, the one thing that has saved me time and money as a business owner, as a small business owner, has been to automate as much as I can. So that would be if you can automate things. I have a lot of things automated, and now I have a virtual assistant that does a lot of my email marketing. We'll write the emails, put them in the queue, schedules all my social media posts. Nothing on social media, unless I'm making comments on people's posts or something, everything in social media gets scheduled. I happen to like something called Edgar.
Okay.
Some people use Buffer. Some people use Hootsuite. They're all scheduling tools. And what I do is I have her sit down and I'll have her do like 50 of them at once. And just schedule that stuff and automate it. And that's how you stay in people's radar. And if you can, it takes an hour to maybe post, make 50 posts and schedule them. Right. But if you actually sat and did those one at a time, day to day, you probably spend 20 hours versus the 1 hour. So I would say to you, my biggest thing that has saved me like time and money as a business owner and kept my own face in front of people has been to automate, especially automate and schedule social media.
Yes. And email. I think that's huge. Email would be huge for you, Christopher. And as we were just talking about, everything is about people. Money comes from people. Sales come from people. Food is grown by people. Cars are driven by people.
Right.
So if you are not staying in front of people, you are pissing in the wind. Pardon my French.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Well, I'm good about getting new people. It's just I don't cultivate the past people. So let me ask you this question, Amy. You mentioned 3 different types of programs you use. So if you put yourself in my shoes where you were when you realized you need that, which of the 3 would be the best beginner, least amount of work, if you will? Like, what would you say would be the best for a beginner guy like me that no idea?
That's a great question. And I have to say, for what I would recommend personally, having gone through the learning, the trial and error and the learning curve, I would say spend the money on Edgar. The reason I love Edgar so much is because it is, and I'm not an affiliate. I don't get any money from them to endorse them or anything like that. So
it was okay. No problem.
What I love is that their interface is very intuitive. Their platform is very intuitive to use. What I also love is the fact that I run 2 Facebook groups and I can schedule things into my groups. Some of the social media scheduler platform things don't allow you to do that. They only allow you to schedule to your business and your personal account, but not your Facebook groups, like if you have a group. And the other thing I love is that it has a library. So once you put things in your library and you can put them in categories, you can make your own categories. It will randomize. So you don't need, 200 posts. What it does is you put in like 8 or 10, and then you make a schedule and you say, hey, on Tuesdays, I want to send out business tips. So Edgar will pull from the content you already have in your library, and then it'll randomize and recycle. So it's great because it's all done for you.
And that does it on your group post or on your regular page?
It does it everywhere you tell it to. Basically, you can make a master schedule, and it'll have like a calendar. And then you pick days and times. So like on Mondays, I do Monday motivation in one of my Facebook groups, and I pick that group, go from the library that's Monday motivation, pull from there, and every Monday, and it just recycles content. And so I can add to it. I can take content out if I want, so that it's always fresh too.
Okay.
Because that's the last thing you want to do is make like 8 posts and then, you know, they're recycling 8 and then people see it over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
You can go in there when you have time, or even my assistant goes in there when she has time and cleans it up and adds new stuff and takes stuff out.
That's what
it's great
because I'm at that awkward stage where you in your business where you need to get an assistant, but you're not quite there yet to where you're comfortable to pay for an assistant.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had a conversation this morning. Well, I guess you were mentioning about a virtual assistant. They mentioned that, but maybe bringing somebody on part-time. But the benefit would be for like what you just said, if they could come in part-time and write some content for me, they could do it on Monday night, but it's actually displaying all week.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
Can I speak to that?
Mm-hmm.
I got to tell you, Christopher, when I first reached the exact point where you were at, where I really needed an assistant, but I really couldn't afford one,
mm-hmm.
I was losing my mind. And I am not kidding you. I was losing my mind. I was working from 8 o'clock in the morning till 12 o'clock at night, and I was losing my mind.
Yeah, that's me.
And I was actually shown how to utilize a virtual assistant and how to automate a huge percentage of my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And hiring a VA for 10 hours a month saved 6 hours a day.
Wow.
And I'm not joking. I am not kidding. We automated a lot of things so that if people had questions or had needs, they could go to my website, fill out a form. It went to my VA. She took care of it.
How long did it take to train your VA? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to jump in.
Well, I was gonna ask real quick because this may help both of us, Christopher.
Mm-hmm.
Sabrina, is that something that Jeanette handles? Like, does she do consultations with people to see like what are those things that can be done and how much that might be?
Yes, Jeanette handles VAs and Brooke handles VAs. So let me say real quickly to you, Christopher, that I'm going to put a link in here, which is Christy's 2 p.m. networking meeting. If you just click on that and register, you'll get the links. You can join her live 2 p.m. virtual networking meeting where you'll meet other people and you'll get an opportunity to talk about this stuff. And you'll hear through that meeting of some of the other presentations and people and trainings that we got going on. But yes, and Brooke is a member of that. Jeanette is a member of that. They both handle VAs. Jeanette's VAs are stateside. Brooke's VAs are from the Philippines. And frankly, this is just my personal recommendation for somebody who's probably like you, really needs a VA but can't afford the VA at this moment. I would talk to them both and get pricing, but you're going to get a lot more for your money with the Filipino VA at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And
I have a client that has Filipino VA because he's an investor. And so when he does his searching for properties, I'm not sure what company he uses, but I've heard of that. Mm-hmm. And he said just what you just said. He said they're fine. Mm-hmm. And he said the girl he has working for her from the Philippines, he said she has like a master's degree. Like she's incredibly smart and very happy with the money she's making. And for him, he's like, oh, and work for the money. So,
well, yeah, but we're in different areas of the world,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Christy, I was going to give you, I wanted to give you an opportunity to answer Christopher's question about where he would start, because my answer is totally different than Dr. Amy's. So I want you to give, is your answer the same as Dr. Amy's, or where would you tell Christopher to start?
A plan. Start with a plan.
Easier said than done.
Exactly. Because I know for me, I'm kind of in that same spot of how do I figure out the things that I can do on my own? How can I, and because I understand you got two things of marketing going on. You're bringing in new business, but you also need to take care of those people you've worked with before, especially as a realtor, because you're going to have, are you residential or commercial?
Both.
Okay. So your residential is what, every 5 to 7 years?
Mm-hmm.
That they're going to make a decision. Typically, they're going to ask you questions again. They want to talk to you again within 5 years. They're going to need to have another conversation. Mm-hmm. So these people, they get a different kind of message than these people, because this is the come try me, and this is the, hey, I know you, let's get to know you. You can have deeper conversations with these people because now you have a relationship. Mm-hmm. For sure. You've been there, you've done that, you know these people a little bit. If you know anything about them, make sure that your data is clean. And so I would look at your current client mix, if you have commonality to that of what that person looks like on average, like if you saw them walking down the street, you go, yep, they fit in my database. So then you could talk to that person as if you were having dinner with them. And you were talking about their kids, their family, their hobbies, their activities, the baseball teams, the whatever team they like, the thing that they like, you can have that conversation with them. And so whenever you talk to them, then you can talk to them about things they like. And then as an analogy to something that may be going on with real estate. And, oh, by the way, I'm your good resource for that. So whenever you're ready to think again. So that's the kind of message to do it. And then how to do it is a little different on each time. Automate as much as possible to stay top of mind, and then stay consistent. So don't So the automation helps fix consistency as far as frequency. The time frequency can happen on a regular basis. This is why, Amy, I was like, oh my God, I've never heard about Edgar, but I could do groups. I could have libraries. I'm like, okay, that's something I have to check into. So thank you very much for that.
You're
I appreciate it. You probably saved me a lot.
Maybe you better invite Dr. Amy to do your show next week.
I totally would love that. And don't think I won't.
So good.
So the other thing is to be consistent. This is why a plan helps to figure out, how do I want to message with these people consistently, and how do I want to message with these people consistently? Because the two things may not be the same method.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. And really just taking a half day to figure out what are the top 3 things that I could be doing. Email automation is big. Emails do still work. Yeah. If you do any snail mail whatsoever, I would keep your snail mail to existing clients, because they already recognize your name and they'll open it. And then if for social media stuff, do resource tips. Become the person that knows what they're talking about.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's part of this. I thought trying to learn how to do this, and just watching everybody doing their programs and everything. That's going to be one mistake that you make, Christopher. Don't watch everybody, or you will never take any action. Focus y'all are professional, so I was going after the good people. Focus in on a small group of people and become niched in those people that are providing you with great ideas that you can actually use right now and that you can implement. Focus on those people. Right. Don't focus on the people who are going to teach you how to float your boat on easy water, because when the waves come, guess what? You're in trouble. Yeah. So does that make sense? Yeah. Well, yeah. And in fairness, I don't mind the hard part of going out, knocking on doors. I need somebody to help with what y'all are talking about, the Facebook stuff. It was last week. I just went on Facebook and I was like, "Does anybody want to sell a house?" And I had this girl that I knew from college, and she's like, "Yeah, my dad wants to sell his house." And so we're gonna put it on the market on Friday, and I'm like, maybe I should start learning to do this more. Yes, that too. My answer to your question is going to be a combination of what they said. Yes, I think that social media is absolutely important for your new clients. However, referrals come from people. Yeah. So my first thing that I would do would be get that email campaign up and running, something that maybe you, even if you only send it out once a week to the current group that you have, the lists that you have, and give them tips and tricks. Let them know what's going on in the local real estate market. Become the go-to person for those questions, like Christy said. Become the expert. Yeah, let people know what's going on. Hey, this neighborhood's going down in value. This neighborhood's going up in value. You better take a look at this over here. I have this house for sale. Would love your referral. And I don't know what kind of tips and tricks you need to give because I don't know real estate. But I'm sure there is a lot of stuff you can give. So my advice would be to get on that email list and staying in front of the people that you've already done business with that can send you referrals. Then move on. But I think that we all give him a lot to work with.
Well, I have something to add really quickly that's outside the box that you may not be thinking of. I follow a realtor that's out in Phoenix, and what she does, and maybe this is not your style, but maybe you can modify it. What she does every so often, she'll post a picture of like 2 kitchens on social media and she'll say, which one do you like better? Yeah. And it's just to get engagement. I mean, stuff like that, just to get engagement. So you're not like, you know, sell, or buy my stuff. It's just like, hey, what do you think? And it's just engagement. Yeah.
I notice on my Facebook feed, a lot of the agents here, they do. There must be some trick that works or something, because I've seen that a lot.
Well, there's a couple things to remember about engaging people in social media. Well, image engages fast, right? So if you're wanting me to engage with you, it's how do you get likes, but you really want comments, because that's real engagement. So that way you can communicate back with them. What creates comments? So when you're asking my opinion about something, I'm typically going to say, "Ooh, I like this one, not that one. That one sucks." You know, don't give me avocado and orange ever again. So that kind of color
and it makes it about them. When you ask, "What do you think of this?" You're making it about them and not about you. So that's
right.
Yes, and you're kind of, you know, you're getting a sense of what your tribe is becoming as well. And I give you total permission to keep it short and sweet. You don't have to, when you give a tip, it doesn't have to be 5 pages long. Just a quick paragraph of, here's what not to do when you're searching for a house. Kind of thing.
Yeah. So then maybe on investment properties,
how do you find a good investment property?
I'm saying to show an example of a house that's really happened in town. There was a house that just looks like termites holding hands, really bad. And then another house that actually looked really good. The termite house was a better investment because the one that looked good was full of asbestos. So that actually, as y'all were talking, I was thinking that could be the picture. What's the better investment? And of course, everybody's going to pick the blue looking house, and then I can come back and go, actually, this was the better, because what you didn't see was on the inside with all this.
There you go. Yeah. Those are the kind of tips and tricks, Christopher, you need to give people.
I love that.
Yay! So I want to let everybody know first. The light bulb just came on. Yeah. I'm going to put a link in the chat box here right now, you guys. I am going to have to blow out of here on time, because I'm going to make Christy Smallwood the host, just in case she wants to keep this little shindig going. I am going to be helping Mamika Cooney out with her webinar today about videos. See you with Mamika. You're going to be there too, huh, Jennifer, with Mamika? So I'm going to help Mamika with her videos today. Again, I gave you the information about how to join Christy Smallwood this afternoon at 2:00. I'm going to give that to everybody again.
Oh, good.
You can find Christy Smallwood at 2 p.m. If you click on that link and register, you'll get the links to join her for her virtual networking group at 2 p.m. Where you're going to, Christopher, you're going to meet all kinds of great people that will really help you with this. We have a really tight-knit community, as well as a private Facebook group of people that will help you with a lot of stuff. I just want to remind everybody real quickly that at Network Live Virtually, we are looking for people who are absolutely serious about building their brand and business while establishing their authority, creating a larger circle of influence to become hosts with us. The people we're looking for are going to have 3 qualities. They're going to be a team player, self-motivated, and dependable. If you have these qualities, please reach out to me and let's talk about the benefits of being host with networklivevirtually.com. I want to, of course, thank my guest, Dr. Amy Kanata. I'm sure that Christy Smallwood's going to, well, actually, I'll reach out on Facebook and introduce you to. Dr. Amy, tell everybody again, and if you'll include your links, where we can find you and who should come seek you.
Well, you know what? It's funny. You should ask that, because I was asked this question yesterday, like, who do you serve? Who's your ideal client? Who do you serve? And instead of coming up with this canned response, it dawned on me that, I serve one of my clients right now. I serve a woman that's a lieutenant corporal in the military, and she's 3 years from retirement. She's been serving our country for 22 years. She had a dream 2 years ago to start a health coaching business. She's been trying to do it on her own and had made $0 until she hired me 3 months ago. In 3 months' time, she has now already paid back her investment with me, and she's gotten her business up off the ground. So here she is, a leader. She's been a leader of our country. She does all these crazy things. She's a mother. She's a CrossFit coach. She does all these amazing things, but couldn't get her business off the ground. So here she is, a leader, a high achiever, but was struggling to get her business off the ground. So I work with women like her. I work with women who, my other client who was in the corporate world, who 2 years ago was in the fetal position in the corner of her bedroom crying because she lost who she was as a woman because she was too busy climbing up the corporate ladder. She had a little baby at home, wants to create this freedom and this lifestyle, didn't know how to create that corporate income. And so working with her, she's about halfway earned her money back from her investment with me. So these are the women that I help. Women who are lost leaders, women who are highly, highly capable, but just haven't been able to, or tried to, they thought, gosh, I'm really smart. I should be able to figure this out on my own. But the fact of the matter was they just needed some mentoring and some coaching and kind of like to take themselves out of our own way, so to speak. And they just needed some guidance and a direction. And like Christy said, a plan. And not only a plan, but let's implement, let's roll up our sleeves. Let's do this together. So those are the women that I serve. And whoever's listening, if you want to find me on Facebook, I am Amy M. Cannata, and I'll post the link in the chat bar. And I also have a business page, which is Dr. Amy Cannata on Facebook. And then I'm on Twitter at @ACannataDC, and on Periscope too. I'm going to be hopping back into the Periscope world pretty soon. So thank you. Thank you, Sabrina. Thank you, Christy. And thank you, Christopher. It's been awesome and really fun to talk to you all today.
You know, we love you, Amy. So be sure to put all your links in there. And my co-host, Christy Smallwood, author of Networking the No Rules Way. She can teach you all about networking, Christopher, the things you need to know to stay in front of people. Christy, tell everybody where they can find you.
My business site is christysmallwood.com, but I also have Entre Networking, which has all the information about the Network Live Virtually show, as well as the upcoming boot camp that we're doing. And my, I think I have the Blab sessions on there too. I think there's all kinds of stuff about Entre Networking. So anyway, yeah, there we go. I'm putting that in the chat site as well, but my business site is just christysmallwood.com because I am branding myself as part of the business. So there you go.
Great job, Miss Christy. Thanks, Christopher, for joining us. If you would like to put any links in where anybody can find you, please feel free, because that's what we're about today. Is we're doing some virtual networking. We're just out meeting people. And by the way, I'm just up north of you. I'm up by Tampa.
Okay, good deal.
Yeah, and these two are way up north. We got Christy Smallwood in Kentucky and Dr. Amy remind me again, Dr. Amy?
Connecticut.
Okay, all I could think was snow. I totally lost the state because I was thinking snow. If you're like north of like the Mason-Dixon line, all I can think is like snow. They got snow over there.
It just snows all year here. That's it.
All right, you guys. I have got to run. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Christy, I will see you Wednesday. Dr. Amy, I can't wait to see you again. Always wonderful to see you.
Bye.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.